What up, people? Before I go into the gym, I decided that I should record my customer of the day, tax season edition. So there was this guy. I don't think that he understood clear English. So apparently, he had just processed the trade and was trying to get the cash sent to him. So, I mean, there are a couple of different options you can use to get cash sent to you. Of course, you can use a paper check, express check, ACH, or electronic check, or a wire. Well, when you do a wire or ACH, your bank is going to give you two different routing numbers because the wires have their own set of routing numbers and ACHs or electronic checks have their own set of routing numbers. So, guy had just placed a trade and then was like, oh, I need to know, how I get the cash sent to myself. So he's reading the options to me. And then I was like, okay, well, which one do you want to do? He was like, well, I want to do the electronic check, but I don't know which routing number to use. I was like, okay, well, your company should give you two different routing numbers. You should have, the most common routing number. Like you can take Bank of America, for instance, say Bank of America, Georgia routing number. All of the routing numbers are pretty much the same. But wires are a little different because you may have to call your bank. So, but apparently he had already made it through that step. So he had his two different routing numbers. So he's saying, yeah, which routing number do I use? I was like, well, which method are you trying to, use? He was like, well, I want to do the ACH or electronic check, but I still don't know which routing number to use. I said, well, are your routing numbers labeled? He said, yeah, one says wire, one says electronic check or ACH, but I still don't know which one to use. Like, what? I said, okay, maybe I'm missing something. I said, you want to do an electronic check or ACH, and you have your two set of routing numbers in front of you. They are labeled. How are your routing numbers labeled again? He said one is saying wire, one is saying ACH or electronic check. So then I had to go back and be like, and what are you trying to do to get this cash? I want to do an electronic check, but I still don't know which routing number to use. I said, are you reading them? Like, are you reading what you're telling me that you see? Because it sounds like you're just saying a combination of words, but you're not comprehending the sentence that these words have been arranged to create. Because you're telling me that you see two completely different routing numbers, and they're labeled. One says wire, one says electronic check. I'm not understanding the confusion here. If they're labeled bold as day, and you still don't know which routing number to use, like, I'm confused. Like, what? So then I just make him read it over and over again. And I don't even think he would have realized that I was basically insulting him, like, on the back end, because I'm like, yo, tell me what they say. Then which one are you trying to use? So I'll wait until you figure it out. He was like, well, you don't have a way to check if they're correct. I was like, no, we don't check if your routing number is correct or not. We process the disbursement, and if it comes back as rejected, 9 times out of 10, they're going to tell us why it was rejected. But it's not our duty to keep up with the millions of routing numbers that are out there. That's not my job. So getting through that, flying ignorami, I forgot to do one yesterday because I did have a lady yesterday that I don't think she could understand clear English. And if she had a husband, I pray for her husband because homegirl don't listen. So she worked for a company that was acquired by another company. So typically when that happens, if you have like any stocks in that company, they'll tell you what they're going to do with those stocks. So they may say, any new grant that you may get from that company, it's not going to vest at one company. We're going to move it to another company, wherever your new brokerage is, and they'll vest there. Or they may do an exchange. We're going to give you a percentage of, if you have X amount of shares, for every share, we're going to give you blank percentage of shares of the new company. Or we may do a combination of percentage of shares and cash, what have you. Nonetheless, that exchange has to get reported to the IRS because your cost basis is now changing, which when you get a grant from your company, that's considered compensation, which is income. So it has to get reported. So this lady, now granted, she had never processed the transaction on her account, which I get that part. However, she did not listen to the fact that I said, well, it's an exchange. Your tax advisor could be telling you that there is a potential capital gain because the shares from the company that was acquired could have been less from the new value of the shares of the new company, which, yes, at that moment, you would have capital gains. So she kept telling me over and over and over again that she did not process any transactions. And I wanted to tell her, I'm like, I know that, but you're not listening to what I'm telling you. So after I kept saying, look at your 1099 over and over and over again, I was like, and I can also get you your December statement so you can see what was going on. Like, you need to look at your December statement and statements prior to December so that you can get a bigger picture of what you had prior to this acquisition. So she still, after I say all of that, she still runs back and she was like, well, where did this gain come from? I was like, there is an acquisition. Look at your 1099, look at your statement. She was like, well, what do I need to do with my taxes? I don't know what you need to do for your taxes. I'm not a tax preparer. I'm not a tax advisor. So I'm not going to tell you how you need to file your taxes. Going on and on and on and on and on. So finally, the light goes off. She was like, oh, that's why you're telling me I need my statements and my 1099. Well, I already have my 1099. I know. You told me that earlier. That's how I knew that you only needed your statements. So we finally get through that with this buffoon. Then she starts asking me about a cost basis from shares from like 2002. So I'm still telling her where to go, but she's not listening again. So I was like, they were employee stock purchase plan shares. So some companies, when you purchase them, they're purchased at a discount. So that discount is considered your market value for that day, which is why they get into holding periods, hoop to hoop. But she kept telling me that she did not see where it specifically said fair market value. I said, your fair market value on these shares is considered your cost basis, the basis that your gain is derived from. It's your cost basis. So I'm like telling her exactly where to look on this on this statement, and it was just like she just was just at a loss. And I stopped to ask her. I said, ma'am, we're legit going in circles. Like, you have your 1099, you have your December statement. You're looking at the form that is telling you what your cost basis was. Maybe I'm missing something, but help me understand what it is that you think that you're still missing. She was like, well, I don't have my fair market value. I was like, it's your cost basis. Your cost basis is your fair market value. That's what your shares were acquired at. Now, you turned around and sold them on the same day, so you're going to have an immediate gain. So that's where you're going to have that short-term gain from, because you did not hold them long enough. As soon as they were purchased, you sold them. You sold them for more than what they were purchased. So your discount is about the discount that you got. That's going to be taxed plus the amount of gain that you're going to have. So you're basically not about to have some good taxes rolling around on the next season, because you're finna get hit twice on these. So here it is. She was like, so my accountant needs to have all this information. I said, yeah, plain and simple. Like, I don't understand what some people, like, the words that are on the combination of words create sentences, which then create paragraphs. All of these sentences have a point behind them. There has to be a subject. There has to be a verb. There has to be a noun in the sentence. Like, there has to be a subject-verb agreement for this sentence to register in our brain. Now, if all of these parts are in the sentence, yet you're just not comprehending the sentence, I don't understand how you make it in life. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't, because both of these people just wouldn't read, or they would read, but they wouldn't read it to comprehend. Like, you learn how to read to comprehend when you first start reading. I know when I was in school, we had what we called accelerated reading, and we had to take a test over the book after we read it to get points to be able to do whatever else you wanted to do. But in order to pass those tests, you have to understand and comprehend what you were reading. Yeah, we can read words, but what does this combination of words mean? I mean, that's just like somebody looking at a math problem. Yeah, I see a subtraction and an addition side and some numbers and a division and square root of this, but what does all of this mean? How do you, like, I don't even know what to say to these two people. Like, if it was a snake, they'd have been dead. They would have been asking these same questions from the insides of King Cobra around here, because blessed be. But anyway, Those are my customers of the day. Oh, I got another one, but I'm gonna share her for tomorrow. Homegirl thought she was big and bad, but I'm gonna wait for that one on tomorrow. Well, I just said on tomorrow. Oof, I'm so sorry, y'all. I'm going to post that one. I'm gonna save that one for tomorrow, not on tomorrow. If I see like on tomorrow is grammatically incorrect. Nonetheless, I'm finna go work out. Y'all have a good one. Of course, please make sure you like and subscribe. Share it along. I know, yeah, just my customer of the day. I'm sure everybody deals with some form of their own customer of the day, no matter what field they may be in. I just so happen to be in the finance sector, and I still have to deal with some idiots. But nonetheless, I'm finna go get my sweat on so I can get this summer body. Anyway, peace out.